going? So today we're working on just a few things. I'm starting here in the kitchen with my ranunculus and anemone bulbs. So today we're going to soak them and get them started in the pre-sprouting process, which what that means is it takes 10 to 14 days and you're basically just soaking them, getting them in just a little layer of soil in a warmer location than it is outside, so that it helps their roots start to form quickly, a lot faster than if you were to plant them straight outside. So you get blooms a few weeks earlier. So it is a little bit of a process, but I think well worth it. I've got my corms sitting here on the counter and I've already started with the ranunculus. So I have 5 different varieties here, all of which came from Floret. Maybe we can pop a picture up on the screen so you guys can see these. This one is called Rose, and the corms are really interestingly shaped. They look like little octopus. Like, look at that. Isn't that nuts? They look like almost mini dahlia tuber bunches. And some are a little bit bigger. Like, this is a pretty good size one. These are a little bit smaller. This is a variety called Marshmallow. This one here is White Picotee. There's Salmon right there. And then La Belle Champagne right here. And then here are my anemones. We have White with Black Eye and Pastel Mix. So I still need to get those in the water. So pre-soaking takes about 3 to 4 hours, and ideally you could put them in a location like in your sink where you can keep the water at a very slight trickle to keep the water oxygenated. But because I'm dealing with so many varieties here that I want to keep separate, I think that putting them each in individual bowls works better. And then what I'll do is come in here every, I don't know, 45 minutes to every hour and just run a little bit of water into each bowl just to kind of mix it up a little bit, and that way I can keep them all labeled properly. Okay, so let's get the anemones in some water. All right, so here they are on the counter, and we're gonna let them soak for 3 to 4 hours. And as they soak, they will start to expand. Like, they'll soak in that moisture and they'll start to plump up a little bit. So when we come back, they will look a little bit larger. I pulled a couple of examples out so you guys could see. It really is easy to tell how to plant these if you just take a close look at them. So ranunculus, these are 2 ranunculus right here. This one's really easy to tell. So the tentacles you plant facing down, and you can see where last year's stalk is coming out of that corm right there. So tentacles always facing down. Here's another example that doesn't really show the stalk, but the tentacles go down, and then right here out of the top of the corm is where the plant will grow. And then for the anemone here, like, isn't it crazy that something so beautiful grows out of these ugly looking things? You can see the stalk coming out of the top right there. So this one is planted pointy side facing down. There's last year's stalk. And then this one right here, same kind of deal. You can kind of see the stubby end of last year's stalk, so it's planted with this pointy end down, like that. Okay, let's let these soak. So while all those corms are soaking, Erin and I are gonna head out to the barn, and we're gonna go through all of my garden stakes. And we've got a couple arbors and things like that, so I usually have them all in one corner of the barn, and they were so like jam-packed in there, I really couldn't even see what was there. So they've all been pulled out into one of the bays of the barn onto the floor so I can see what's there. We're gonna just kind of filter through them and see the things that we want to keep, what we want to give away. It's just a good time of year to do that sort of thing because check it out. I mean, we're still covered with snow here. And I also need to grab some trays and potting soil for our ranunculus and anemones for the next step. Oh my goodness.
A lot of stuff in here.
There is a lot of stuff. Boy, it's amazing what you can accumulate through the years, but it is nice being able to see it all spread out, isn't it?
Is nice the right word?
Yeah, yes. Well, before it was all in this corner, you guys, from the harvest rack right there, all the way to the corner to the door. All of this stuff condenses down into that corner, which is kind of nuts. But it made it to where I couldn't even see what was in there. And I doubt I'm gonna remember what all of these things are called. So in that case, if I can't remember, we'll try to pop a name up on the screen.
Okay, so what I think we should do is we should try to figure out an organizing system, and then you can like explain what each one is as we put it in its place.
Okay.
Want to do that?
You just take the lead.
Oh, jeez.
Take the lead, my friend.
I think all this stuff should go where we're building that fence, like where we're putting all the...
I don't really want it to be weathered. It's nice to have it under cover.
All right, well, okay.
Also, that big white thing on the back, that's our light diffuser that we use in the greenhouse if we're filming out there. It's nice because the corners are open and you can slide an S-hook in there and then attach it to the roof really easily.
Thing number 1.
That is the rose arch from Gardener's Supply. Ha!
What are you
Remember
gonna do
that?
with it?
Thinking flower garden, possibly.
Yeah.
Or maybe rose garden, Aaron.
Oh, how about that?
Yeah. So before we do anything too crazy, I think we should maybe address the flat ones first.
Okay.
Just because, I don't know, maybe they would slide down in these little sections in the barn. I don't know, how far does that go down? Oh, shoot. On every one of them?
I don't know.
Yes, it's like a little shelf in there.
No.
Ah. I'm just thinking that those are gonna need the most support. Like they will need to lean up against a wall. So if we have all the arbors and obelisks in the way.
Do you have like a vase, a vase, like a large something that they can all go
What about
in?
like a garbage can?
Oh,
Oh, nice. I think that would work.
Oh, there's a bunch over here too, Laura.
A bunch of what?
Stakes.
Oh, bamboo stakes, I see. Well, I think a garbage can is a good longer term solution. There's really nothing special about these stakes. They're just your run-of-the-mill garden stakes from the garden center, except for that one. And I think that one's from Gardener Supply. I know that. I love the top of it. It's got like a little twisty, decorative.
There's supposed to be something that goes right here in the middle.
I'm not sure. Let me look it up. I think it has, it's one of the Titan things, I think. Okay, yep. It's a Titan TP trellis. And I don't think there's anything in the center. I think it's just that, Aaron. I've got a menagerie of stuff in here. Like there are some bamboo stakes here, which I tend to like the natural color of. There are some square wood stakes, which are like Sliver City. I just look at them and I think slivers. And then I've got several of this style. I don't know what they're made out of. They're not like super strong, but yeah, I got these at the garden center. Ooh, I do like these. These are really cool. So these stakes right here are just like a one long single stake right there. Thank you. And then on the end, you've got these bendable ones, like bendable support, so you can like wrap them around whatever you're trying to stake. And they form, and then hold on, and then yeah, then they have little rings on the ends that you hook together, so it like can go around. I'm sorry, you guys. I'm really trying to get the camera to focus. It is not cooperating with me, but you can see the ends right there. They hook together, so like you can put a ornamental grass, like stake an ornamental grass or something like that up really easily. Yeah, I'm not real sure why we have the shepherd's hook, but you know, in case you find yourself in need of one. So we're just gonna start by getting all of the loose stakes into that garbage can. Oh yeah. So I think we have enough room in the garbage can to fit maybe a few of these bamboo teepee trellises.
Okay, there's a lot of them though.
There are, but we can maybe start with the small ones.
Okay.
I love these, you guys. I get these down at my parents' garden center. I think they might be like, the brand is Bond, maybe. But they're so versatile. You can use them out for all kinds of different things. And they have a really neat look to them. So that's 2. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 more. Okay, so we have all of the bamboo trellises kind of in here leaned up against the wall. There's really not a great way to store those that we can think of. Super hoops, I put those supports right up there. Do you think we should put that arch, which that is the SX arch, I believe, from Gardener Supply as well. Do you want to put it underneath this one? Just like...
we should keep it, just got dust in my throat. I think we should keep it out for a while and see if we can fix it. Or, I mean, I know we can fix it. We're probably just missing like 1 or 2 pieces. So I think we should leave it out and figure out what parts we need to order or go to the hardware store.
Okay. Well, if we put that underneath this arch, the obelisks won't fit underneath that arch.
Yeah. So I say let's leave this out, and then maybe we can put it somewhere too.
True. We could use it. That's novel.
We don't need to put it away. So let's get this out of here. Do these go with it?
I don't think so. No, I think those go to the Oxford arch, which we may, I think we, you know what, the Oxford arch I used out by the front yard and it blew over in a windstorm, a really bad windstorm, and broke it. Stakes are so hard, like these right here, which I love. These are the half circle shape. I got these down at the garden center. They have two vertical stakes that go in the ground, and then just this half moon shape. And so you can use 2 of them and kind of like sandwich a plant with it, or just use one on one side of a plant that tends to be like lean a little bit more or whatever. And so they're really versatile, and I like to have them, but boy, they're hard to store when they're so squirrely and they're weird shaped. So I'm thinking maybe a hook on the wall just to pop those on there. And then I've got some grow through grids. These are also from Gardener Supply. So there's a top to them like this, and then there are these. So you stick this down in the ground and the grow through grid, like you do several per each circle, and then it just sits on the top right here. Equally as hard to store. Like you have to store the pieces kind of separate from each other. Maybe I can put them up here. Let's try that. Yay. A few of the other things that we have over here, these are the birdcage supports. I love these. Of course, they're looking a little wobbly and willy-nilly right now because you have to set them in the ground, and then the circles fit inside these little hooks. So once you have it like set, they look really beautiful. And then I've got a bunch of these are SX plant supports right here. So you can see all the pieces and parts down here, and then they turn into like a small one or a larger size one right here that has a grid on the top, but they have just more of a decorative vibe to them, which I really love. Then we've got the Verona obelisks. These are the large size. I'm using the smaller size in our urns, our, what are they called? Savannah urns up front. I used them in our Christmas display. Let me put it out where we can see it. Yeah, so they fold up flat, and they've got a nice decorative circular kind of design in the center. You found hooks.
Yeah, all sorts of hooks.
Awesome. And then these right here are the round obelisks. One of them sitting out right here. This is the 7-foot size. I like these because they come in sections. Like there's a section that starts here and it goes up to here. So you can take a section out if you want to make it a little shorter. I have 4 of these in the vegetable garden right now, and they have seen better days. So I ordered these to replace those. Do you want to pre-drill a hole, or you're just gonna brute strength right there? Oh man, I just hear your glove on that dry wood. Oh, it's fingernails on a chalkboard. It helps to make the sounds.
It does.
Yeah.
Lunk alert.
Oh, that's perfect, Erin. Perfect. The stakes even fit the right direction, so they're not gonna like snag anything.
Yeah.
Nice.
Okay, what else can we hang?
Well, we've got these right here. These are shade tunnels for the flower garden. See?
These can just
Shade tunnel. Yeah, I think those can just set in the little shelf, built-in shelf right there. And then the last couple of things that I don't think I talked about yet are a few of my older tomato frames. There's a couple of really heavy-duty green ones and some heavy-duty, I think they call these, no, these aren't the peony rings, but they're really tough metal ones. And I got those at the garden center. And then we've got these supports that we just opened in an unboxing not very long ago, like today. Was that today's video?
Yeah.
I think it was.
Of course, this will probably be a few days later.
Yeah, that's okay. So now, should we take all of these things apart and just like zip tie like pieces together,
Yeah,
do you think?
So.
This is where it gets rough, figuring out how to store these. But everything is looking so much better. I wish we had a before shot for you guys, because it was a mess, a total mess. And now I can see everything we have. Oh, I love it. And you can plan so much better for your next growing season when you know what you actually have on hand. You know if you need to order things or if you need to replace something. And it's been a process here at our house. I mean, you guys know, and we've put in, you know, the root cellar and the studio, and we've moved the staircase. Like the staircase used to belong in the far bay. We put in a garage door in this barn. I mean, it's seen a lot of changes throughout the last 5 years. It's almost been 5 years. And it's getting more and more efficient. Like we're honing in on a really good system. Not quite there yet, but we're honing in on it. You can see that we're prepped for this season with fertilizer.
We got more coming.
Yeah. I mean, it's good. We're gonna need it. But we kind of have like our bonide section here, and then we've got our espoma section here. And then we've got Felco stuff up there on the top. And I've got my Christmas wreath right here because we don't want to be wasteful. And so I want to take off these dried oranges and pine cones and nuts and dried pomegranates so I can use them again next year. Just haven't done it yet. Oh, that's perfect.
That's a manageable size.
That's the bird cage supports right there. I think I'm going to put them behind these obelisks. Why is this not? Where's this? Oh, there. Crying out loud, why won't it stay? I think we need another hook.
Oh yeah.
Can we do another hook?
Sure, here. Up here?
Yeah, I think that would probably be best.
Or I could put it in.
That's a praying mantis egg sac up there. Look at that.
How do you see stuff like that?
That is so exciting. Oh, look at that. One thing I don't love is having a bunch of stuff in front of windows. Even in shops and barns and things, because you can like have a really pretty view if you could see through there. There's the back garden right there, and I don't love looking like from the outside and just seeing a bunch of stuff, especially if it's like old dusty bottles of stuff. But it just kind of is the nature of it. We've done pretty good keeping the other windows fairly cleaned from clutter. Our roof in the barn, you can see the old cedar shakes. That used to be the outer layer. And then they put metal, what is it, tin roof? Is that what they call it?
Yeah.
Over the top of the whole thing. And you can see little pieces shining through. So you can see like where you used to be able to see light coming through, which is in a lot of spots in this barn. Oh,
there.
That's so nice. It looks so professional.
Yes.
It's just nice seeing everything.
It's nice to know what you have.
Yeah.
So many times you get into projects and then you think, do we need to go to the garden center and get a stake or something? But you already have a bunch. You just don't know where you put them.
Right. Oh, so much better over there. And we can swing that door wide. And we also have all the room we need to get up and down the stairs without snagging anything on the way. We're just down one garbage can. Yeah. And that harvest rack, I actually mean to put that in the root cellar. I meant to do it this last season when I filled it up and I just forgot about it. So that will actually alleviate a little bit of space right there as well. Okay, so now I just need to gather up some trays and some potting soil to bring inside so that when our ranunculus and anemones are ready, I'll have everything kind of gathered up in the right spot. It's been about 3.5 hours, and so we're ready for the next step in this pre-sprouting process. And they really have plumped up quite large. Let me show you a close-up. Yeah, look at how much bigger that is. They all look really healthy. Like this variety, this is the rose variety, and it was definitely bigger than the others to start off with. But the other ones, they all look really healthy and nice as well. So the next step is the actual pre-sprouting, where we need to pre-moisten some potting mix and put a layer at the bottom of this tray. Then we're going to sprinkle both our ranunculus and anemones out. And I'm going to create some little foil dividers so we can keep the varieties separate, and then we'll cover them with soil, some more pre-moistened soil, and then they have to go into an area 40 to 50 degrees for 10 to 14 days. So let's do that quick. So there are the trays. The back two are filled with ranunculus, and this front one has anemones. So now we need to take them down to the basement where they will live for 10 to 14 days. So the ranunculus and anemones are down in the basement where they will stay for the next 10 to 14 days. We're out in the greenhouse now because when we were down in the basement, I found a basket of old potatoes that are all sprouted, and I thought it would be fun to come out here and just plant them just to see what would happen. In fact, this was the basket of potatoes that I saved that had been pierced, like see right there, or cut with my shovel inadvertently when I was harvesting. So I thought, well, I'll put a basket inside so that I can use these up first, and then I promptly forgot about them. And I mean, much to my surprise, look at this. So I think it'll be fun, a fun experiment. I have a galvanized tub out here that I thought we would plant them up and then just see what happens. But anyway, the anemones and ranunculus will stay down in the basement for 10 to 14 days at that 40 to 50 degree range, which our basement stays that cool, so we'll be good there. And I'm gonna check on them every couple of days, make sure that nothing's rotting. If there are any corms that look like they're starting to rot, we'll remove those right away. And then at the end of that time period, we'll take them out of the soil, and by that time, they will most likely have formed some roots. So they look like little white hair-like kind of roots. And they're just that much further along in their growing process, and that's the whole point of pre-sprouting. I mean, you can plant them straight, like soak them and plant them straight in the ground if your temperatures are favorable. But if you do the pre-sprout, you just gain yourself a couple of weeks. I think I mentioned that earlier, but both of them are very frost and cold tolerant crops. Like ranunculus, you can actually plant them out in the fall if you're in a zone 7 or higher, I believe, and your spring crop will actually be better. For anemones, it's zone 6 or higher, which technically I could have planted those out. You may, in both cases, have to provide a little bit of extra protection, like a low tunnel, I use super hoops rather, with a garden quilt over the top, just to trap in some extra heat, and that might be necessary if the temperatures dip. They don't like to be close to 20 degrees Fahrenheit. In fact, if they reach that most of the time when they thaw out, they will rot. So you do really want to make sure you're watching the weather, and that's what I'm gonna do with mine. If it looks like our forecast isn't, I mean, it's like on an upward trend right now. It looks like we're warming up, and if it continues to do that, I'll go ahead and plant them out and probably hoop and garden quilt them for a little while. But if it looks like it's going to be cold still, or if it goes back down, I'll plant them up out here in the cold frame and just get them growing on early that way. But if you're planting them out, typically you just want to wait until you don't have any temperatures around that like deep freeze kind of mark. Usually like 1 month before your last spring frost, your last like lighter frost is the time frame. So I am a little bit early, but we'll see what happens. I'm really excited to get these going. I think I'm just gonna plant them in our raised beds. I've got 2 of those beds full of tulips, and I thought, oh, if I could tuck in more flowers in there and have a really early crop of flowers, I think I could probably enjoy that more than growing greens. Because I have greens growing right now, and I think just having something different in there will be nice. Russell. Hey, bud. Russell, kitty kitty. All right, so now I want to get these potatoes planted. And look at these. It's a menagerie of variety, and honestly, like some of them, like this one's all dried up, and some of them I'm not gonna plant. Just enough to fill this tub. But like, oh my, this one's even growing through the side of the basket. Gah. Okay, having a hard time getting it back through. I think this is gonna be interesting. Guaranteed anything with these potatoes, but I think it'll be fun to see what happens. And we're not really out anything. If they don't pick up and start growing, then I can use this soil in the container for something else, and it's ready to go. I mean, I even added some Biotone starter fertilizer in there just in case the potatoes do take off. They'll have some really good food in there, and then maybe in a few months time we'll have some potatoes, especially if I keep them here in the cold frame, because it's actually so warm in here right now that I could take off my coat and I would be 100% comfortable. I could probably wear a short sleeve shirt in here and be comfortable right now, and there's snow outside still. So anyway, that is it for today's video. We will come back and show you the ranunculus and anemones, kind of the progress there, and then the process after we take them out of that pre-sprout period of time. And it will all completely depend on our weather. So it might be a case where we're back here in the cold frame, potting them up. I might be outside. I'm kind of considering shoveling the snow off the top of the raised beds right now and go ahead and put my super hoops with my garden quilt now, so I can start heating that soil up a little bit, and that way they're even like more ready, I guess. And I am starting these things just a tiny bit early, but March is going to be such a busy month. I have so much on the schedule in terms of seed starting and just projects in general. And then, you know, wanting to spend as much time with Benjamin and Samantha Grace as I can. It just makes for busy life, but happy. I mean, there's so many happy projects going on. It's just so much fun. So anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you're having a great day, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.